Trifecta by Dean Pearl. Chapter 7. Since the girls don't open the dojo until noon on Sundays, they all took their time packing up and driving back to town. Max had dropped them off at their house about 11:30 a.m. and then went home to just crash. He had the whole week off for a change, and he planned on getting some things done around his place. But he was still a bit tired and decided to nap a bit before starting his list of chores to get done this week. Max woke refreshed and feeling great as he made himself a lunch of grilled cheese and ham sandwich and a side of microwave mac and cheese. He realized he needed to be more conscientious of what he eats, but it's so easy to be lazy when you live alone. As he sat having lunch, he looked over the first thing on his to-do list. Number 1 was to clean out his mom's closet. When his mom had passed away just after he turned 18, he had gathered all of his mother's personal items, clothes, jewelry, photo albums, etc., and he had stored all of it in a hallway closet that he had never even opened in over 10 years. He felt it was time to go through it and keep a few personal items, sell what he can, and give the rest to a charity. It was just always hard for him to do anything that had to do with his mom. He was only 7 when his dad died, and his mom never remarried or even had much of a social life. Her life revolved around Max and making sure he grew up to be a good man. As he opened the closet, he caught a whiff of old clothes and hoped that nothing had become moth-eaten or anything. He started removing items one by one and assigning them to one of 3 piles: the keep pile, the sell pile, and the giveaway pile. Most of it was clothes and shoes, and it made him think that retro stuff is coming into style, so maybe he could get enough money from this old stuff to buy himself a new guitar to replace the one that was stolen. He came upon a box marked Books and Jewelry. He flipped through the jewelry to see if anything had any worth or at least sentimental value, but it appeared to be mostly just costume jewelry. His eyes fell on a locket and chain. He picked it up and opened the locket to see a picture of him and his mom and dad all together when he was probably 6 years old. His eyes teared up a little as he remembered his parents while staring at the locket. He closed it and put it in his pocket so he wouldn't misplace it. As he started going through some of the books, there was a few mystery novels and some cookbooks, but then something caught his attention. There was a leather-bound book with a small lock on it, and Max thought it resembled a diary or journal. He had no idea his mom had kept a journal as he turned it over and over a couple times in his hands. "I wonder what's in it," Max said to no one as he fiddled with the lock. He figured it should be okay to read it since she's been gone for about 11 years now. He was curious as to when she started and finished writing it, and his imagination started taking off as he looked for something he could use to pick the lock. He found a bobby pin and bent it so he could push it into the hole on the lock. With a little twisting and turning, the lock popped open, revealing the first page that said Maria's Diary, hand-printed in bold letters. Max took the diary into the kitchen to get himself something to drink and set it on the table. He kept looking at it as he poured himself some orange juice and sat down to give his mom's diary a look. He was anxious to see if she had written anything about his dad. Apparently she had started the diary shortly after he was born, and she spoke mostly of being with Max a lot since her husband Barry was on the road so much with his various bands. Max recalled his dad being gone quite a bit and regretted that they never got to spend more quality time together before he was murdered. He started flipping ahead through the dates, closer to the time of his dad's death, when he found something that caught his attention. Dear Diary, March 13th, 2003. Today Barry told me that he had had an affair with a woman named Terry. He said that she was married too and that her husband was in the military and gone a lot. He said he only told me because she told him she's pregnant. I don't know what to do. Dear Diary, March 15th, 2003. Oh my God, my dear Barry is dead. I can't believe it. He was killed just coming home from work. Dear Diary, March 16th, 2003. I had to tell Max what happened to his dad. He's only 7 years old. How can he possibly understand? I vow to make him the center of my life until the day I die. At this point, Max's eyes were welled up with tears. He remembered when his mom told him about his dad being gone forever. She cried so hard, and he promised her he would be the man of the house now and take care of her forever, and he did. She passed away from cancer when he was only 18, and not a day goes by that he doesn't think about her. He started thinking about the diary and that if his dad had gotten another woman pregnant, he might have a brother or sister out there somewhere that he doesn't even know about. He set back to working on cleaning out the closet, but he couldn't stop thinking about whether or not he had an unknown half-sibling out there somewhere. Then a weird thought stuck in his mind. His mom said the woman his dad had an affair with was named Terry, and she was married to a military man. Was it at all possible that the woman he had an affair with was Wesley and Leslie's mom? He knew their birthday was in March, but he couldn't remember the day, and that would be the year they were born. He started to wonder if the girl's mother was named Terry. That would just have to be too much coincidence, Max thought. Max decided that he was going to do a little sleuthing on his own regarding the death of his father, but he wouldn't say anything about this to the girls unless he found out something he was excited about that might involve them. Those girls could be my half-sisters. The thought echoed in his head like a bomb going off. He got onto his computer and started doing a news search for the story about his dad's shooting. He finally found the original police report that said while the death was ruled as a robbery murder, there was never any suspects found. And as a side note, it appeared that there really wasn't a robbery because his dad still had his wallet and the guitar he was carrying when the alleged robber confronted him. Max found this very strange. It appeared that either the killer didn't actually intend to kill his victim, got scared and just ran away without any loot, or that it was never really a robbery at all, just a plain old murder. But who would want to murder his dad, he pondered. It occurred to him that if his dad was murdered, who and why would anybody want to do that? His dad was so well liked by everyone. His warm, affable smile and frequent jokes made him the life of most parties. However, what if the person who killed him just wanted him out of the way? He was killed on the same day the twins were born and their mother died giving birth. What if it was the girl's dad that killed him so that no one could ever come along and lay claim to the twins as their own? Maybe his dad was just someone that someone else wanted out of the way. Lord knows, he thought, as a trainer for special ops teams, the girl's dad would certainly have the knowledge of how to kill someone without leaving clues that could result in him getting caught. He also read in a follow-up article online that the police had never come up with any suspects and the murder was just listed as a still open case. But how could he present this to the twins in a way that wouldn't make them very upset with him for even thinking such a thing? After all, he had no real evidence, and neither did the police. It was more like a hunch. He then remembered that the girl's birthday was in just a few days. Since it was now March 10th, they would be turning 23, and he thought he could get them each a DNA test kit from Ancestry.com. He could say that he got one for himself as well and thought it would be something different and fun as a gift for the twins that have everything. So he ordered 3 tests before going back to the closet to finish what he started. He called the girls and told them he wanted to take them out for dinner on their birthday this weekend. The girls said yes immediately as they had nothing else planned. With all their talent and beauty, they didn't seem to have a lot of friends of either sex. It seemed the women they'd meet were usually intimidated by their pretty looks and physical prowess, and the men they'd meet were intimidated by the same things, leaving them to have just each other as a best friend and confidant. However, unknown to Max, he was now taking a major role in the girls' lives as a friend, client, and bandmate all rolled into one. They adored Max and loved working with him in the band and teaching him martial arts. Since he had the weekend off, he asked them if Friday night would work for them. They agreed that was fine, and they set a time for Max to come and pick them up. He figured he should have the DNA kits by then because he ordered rush shipping. He chose their most comprehensive package that included everything, so it even had access to military records and such. However, at this point, Max was just eager to see if he shared any DNA with the twins, which would pretty much confirm his hypothesis about what happened to his dad. On one hand, he would be upset to know that the twins' father was responsible for the death of his own father, but of course they had nothing to do with it other than just being born. And if they did turn out to be his half-sisters, then he could revel in finally having a family unit to be a part of, although his mom might be turning over in her grave as he silently blessed himself looking towards the sky. The week went by quickly as Friday approached. Max had made reservations for the 3 of them at a great local steakhouse, and he was really looking forward to helping the twins celebrate their birthdays. When he arrived at their house to pick them up, Wesley let him in and asked if he wanted a quick drink before they go, since they were a bit early for their reservation. Max replied sure, and came in to sit down as Wesley made him a gin and tonic and brought it out. She shouted to Leslie, "Leslie, do you want a drink before we go?" Leslie yelled back down the stairs, "No, I'm good, thanks." However, Wesley decided to join him for one. After all, she mused to Max, it is my birthday, as she and Max laughed. "You look awesome tonight, by the way," Max told Wesley as she joined him on the couch. She was wearing a blue chiffon dress about knee length with off-the-shoulder straps that showed off her ample breasts quite nicely. But a little voice in the back of Max's brain told him to chill, as she might be his sister. It suddenly dawned on him about the night of their first gig when Leslie planted a big wet kiss right on his lips. He might have made out with his own sister. Just then Leslie came down the stairs looking so hot, he was at a loss as to what to say to her. He didn't want to sound too distant or too flirty either, although she looked amazing, so he just blurted out, "Wow," as she came down the steps. Leslie laughed at him and said, "Well, I guess I'll take that as a compliment." "Oh, it is," Max assured her as they all got ready to leave for the restaurant. As they were driving, Max decided to make some small talk and mentioned how he had been going through his mom's closet with all her stuff and saying how nice it was to be reminded of her again when he went through her things. That couldn't have been easy for you, Wesley surmised. Well, at first it was a bit odd and awkward, Max confirmed, but then I found her diary. Oh no, please tell me you didn't read your mother's diary, Leslie teased. You never read a woman's diary, she laughed. Well, she's been gone for about 11 years now, so I don't think that she minded much, Max smiled as he said it. Did you learn anything new or interesting? Wesley asked politely. Actually, I did, Max responded, maybe more than I should have known. The girls looked a bit puzzled by his response, but didn't say anything. They arrived at the restaurant and were promptly seated for their reservation. The waiter took their drink and food orders and left them alone to chat until their dinner was ready. Max reached into his sport coat pocket and took out 2 thick, fancy envelopes to give to the girls. These are for you, he said, handing them each an envelope. Happy birthday. Oh, Max, what are you doing? Dinner was more than enough for a present, Leslie said, excited as she took her envelope. What is it? She said excitedly. Max laughed. Well, open it and find out. Wesley had hers open first and exclaimed, Oh my God, this is so cool. Leslie and I were just saying something about this about a month ago, that we should sign up for something like this and see if we have any family members around that we don't know about. Yeah, Leslie confirmed. This is awesome. Thank you so much, Max. Yeah, Max said, I even got one for myself, too. I got the best package they had for us. It even has military records available, so maybe your dad might be listed in their database. I wonder if they have any info on your mom's side of the family. What was her first name? Her name was Terry, Wesley responded quickly. Terry Thomas was her maiden name, but of course after her and Dad were married, she was Terry Johnson. Max had picked up his water and was taking a drink when Wesley said her mother's name. He sounded like he was choking a bit as she said it, as he set the drink down and mumbled, wrong pipe, then coughed a few times for effect. Max was happy the food was coming out right then, but now all he could think about was what the test results would say. He sat quietly the rest of the meal. He loved the food, but was feeling a little nauseous as well, as his brain was reeling with the knowledge that he was probably right about his theory, but he would have to wait for the DNA test results to talk to the girls about what he surmised.